Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, this is the best lighting that we are going to get. My power's out, and of course I'm going to film for you, because why not? I realized that it's been a long time since I did a book haul. This many books, actually. I will put right here how many books it is, because I'm not counting right now. If I look overheated, it's because my air conditioning does not work in Arizona. And it's like, lucky for me, it's only like 94 today. And it was raining earlier. But now it's nicer, and this is the best light because my window's right here. So I'm going to try and stay on this side, maybe even move the camera over. And we're going to talk about all the books I've hauled since, I think, January. Some of these I know a lot about, some of these I don't know anything. This is The Wild Inside by Jimmy Bradbury. In Alaska, the winters are long and dark, the land untamed. Tracy has always loved her family's remote home and her parents' business training and racing sled dogs. Cool days out in the woods on a sled, warm nights inside by the fire. But now everything is different after Tracy's mom was killed in a hit and run. Well, look at the sprayed edges. Kind of interesting. And this is One of the Girls by Lucy Clark. One is a liar, one is a stranger. Who is a killer? So I think this is like a vacation thriller. These girls go on this vacation. The 6 of them go to the Greek islands, and one of them dies. Then we have Darlene by Rachel Edwards. Dream husband, nightmare stepdaughter. So this woman named Darlene is dating this man. She's been dating him for 3 months. And basically his daughter, Lola, says that she doesn't want a stepmom. And she's out to make sure that Darlene isn't going to be her stepmom. I'm assuming that means she's going to try and murder her, and that sounds fantastic. On to our next thriller, For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This follows this college professor named Teddy something or other, Teddy Crutcher, and he is also a serial killer. I have 0 expectations other than that. Megan Miranda did say slick and chilling, so that sounds great. I kind of hope it reminds me of They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, because that was an amazing thriller, and that one also follows a college professor who murders men. But this is a man who murders people. Then I have a nice little cozy murder mystery. This is Lemon Tart by Josie S. Kilpack. This is a sweet tooth culinary murder mystery. This is the first in a cozy murder mystery series. 5 families living on Perig Circle. 1 flowered curtain tieback. 1 missing child. And 1 body found in the field. A recipe for murder. And then I got 2 Megan Miranda books. I usually really enjoy her books. They are usually cozier thrillers or mysteries or both. And I just have a whole lot of fun. Usually I give her books 3 or 4 stars, with the exception of her last book. I didn't like her last book. But there's Such a Quiet Place and All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. Don't really know what these are, just cozy little thrillers, and I am excited for me and Miranda books. I will, like, read all of them. I mean, it's kind of a goal of mine to read all of them eventually. Then this one is going to be on my June TBR. This is Broken by Shai Keenan. The most shocking true story of abuse ever told. Shai has written this book, and it's going to be really, really hard to read because it was a true story of the abuse that she suffered at the hands of her parents. Then yesterday I went book shopping and I got Things Have Gone Worse Since We Last Spoke by Eric LaRocca and Other Misfortunes. So this is 3 short stories, and I've just heard amazing things about Eric LaRocca. So I'm going to tell you a brief synopsis of all 3. The first one is a whirlpool of darkness churns at the heart of a ballet between two lonely young women in an internet chat room in the early 2000s. A darkness that threatens to forever transform them once they finally succumb to the most horrific desires. A couple isolated themselves on a remote island in an attempt to recover from their teenage son's death when a mysterious young man knocks on their door during a storm. And number 3, a man confronts his neighbor when he discovers a strange object in his backyard, only to be drawn into an even more dangerous game. Then I have Girl in Snow by Danya Kafka. She wrote Notes on an Execution, which was on my TBR in May, and as of right now, I have not got to it. But this is her debut book, and it's a thriller. Idle Hands by Nick Sagan. I remember the shock and nothing. A young man is suddenly startled awake. He has no memory. He only knows one thing for certain. Someone is trying to kill him. Another thriller is Convince Me by Nita Sadowski. And this one says, this follows this man named Justin, who is like the perfect dad, the perfect son, the perfect husband, the perfect everything, until he dies. And everyone finds out that he's actually a liar and he's been living a double life for a little bit now. The next thriller that I got was What She Gave Away by Catherine Riggs. Choices have consequences. Choices have consequences, and revenge has a cost. Revenge is anything but sweet in this twisty thriller about 2 women with very different lives, locked in the same deadly game. Another mystery, I think this one's more of a legal mystery, but this one's The Green Beach File by K.A. Perry. It is a legal thriller, legal mystery for all those who love and enjoy nature. Oh, an amphibian expert is found murdered on the shoreline of Mayfield, Connecticut. And this starts like the investigation and the trial of what happened to this amphibian expert. And then recently, like a month ago, I think, okay, so I talk to this counselor, this social worker, who just tries to help me with coping skills and tries to help me become like a more confident person, because that's something that I used to struggle with, but I feel like I do a lot better than I used to do. I'm still working on myself because I'm a work in progress, and that's okay. But when I was talking to her about books and things, she gave me an author that I should try that I have tried before and gave up on. But you know what? Second chances. That's what we're doing on this channel. Second chances. So I might not know a whole lot about these books, but there's The Body by Stephen King. I think this one is about these 12-year-old boys who find this dead body while they're walking on the railroad track, as one does. And I think this inspired the movie Stand By Me, which I've never seen. Then she also recommended that jail one. And I listened to it on audio, but I can't find it in the stores. I didn't like it that much anyway. Then there's Everything's Eventual by Stephen King. This one's 14 short stories. Then there's this huge chunker. There's Desperation by Stephen King. I think this is a small town called Desperation in Nevada, and some weird things happen there. And then Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King. This one follows Dolores, who is about to confess to something. I think murder. And we get to live through her confession. And that sounds fun. Our next thriller is The Other Guest by Helen Cooper. How far would you go for the perfect vacation? So beautiful places hide the most dangerous secrets. This follows this this woman named Leah. And her niece, last year, her niece died in this lake where their family has a house, and now it's a year later and they've returned, and I think sinister things are about to happen. Our next book is The Dollhouse by Fiona Davis. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. It's historical fiction though that takes place in 1952 at this famous hotel where this model lives. Then I have a literary fiction book called The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. When this came out a couple of years ago, it got a ton of hype. 2020, so 3 years ago. I'm late to the party, as per normal, but apparently you follow these two twins who, after they grow up and they kind of go their separate ways. One goes into the world as a white female, and the other woman goes into the world as a black female. And I think it's going to be really hard-hitting and kind of tough to read, which is like totally on brand for me. Then I have 2 young adult novels, which is completely off-brand for me, but that's okay. There's Olympus by Rachel Smith. This is a graphic novel series that is young adult. I think it might be like superheroes, or is it mythology or something? I don't know. I think it's mythology. Then I also finally got Illuminae, the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is young adult. This is sci-fi. It takes place in space, and it's told a lot in mixed media format. And that's kind of what excited me about it, is like the mixed media format of it. But she's chunky. Then I bought Thick and Other Essays by Tessie McLean Cotton. In these 8 piercing explorations on beauty, media, money, and more, Tessie McMillan Cotton, award-winning professor and acclaimed author of Lower Ed, embraces her ventured role of wit, wisdom, and black Twitter snark about all that is right and much that is wrong with what we call society. Then I have The Echo Room by Parky Pivy House? I don't know. I think that's what it is. But this is a young adult mystery. It's like an escape room type of thing. They're locked in this room and they have to get out, I think. Okay, then I have a few short story collections. So I have The Bye Bye Man, which I've seen the movie, really enjoyed the movie. Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Menchoda. And So We Can Glow by Lisa Cross Smith. Then I have The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. I just really love Lynn Painter's writing. Hot Ice by Nora Roberts. This is a romance by Nora Roberts, I think. Then we have The Change Up by Megan Quinn. Honestly, I read my first Megan Quinn a couple months ago on Audible, so I wanted to try more of her backlist. Then 30 Things I Love About Myself by Radhika Sagahana. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I got this before my 30th birthday, and my whole goal was to read it when I turned 30, because this is about this woman named Nina who wakes up, or she spends her 30th birthday in jail. And I just thought that it would be really interesting to read on my 30th birthday, but now I have about a year. Okay, I have 11 months to read it while I'm 30. Then I have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is a book about these two who have been faking that they're in a relationship with their families for years. And now I think that they really fall in love. Then there's Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. Julia Whalen is my favorite audiobook author, and this book is about an audiobook author, or an audiobook narrator who finds love. By Any Other Name by Lauren Kate. What She Doesn't Know About Love could fill a book. I think it's like this publisher and this author fall in love. The Plus One by Maisie Eddings. This takes place at a wedding, and these two fall in love even though they're arch nemesis. Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCree. This is an adult thriller that follows Kate, who gets a phone call saying, "Come get your daughter. Amelia was caught cheating." And she's like, "Oh, my daughter wouldn't cheat." But when she gets to the school to pick up her daughter is dead. It was only okay for me. The next book is a book that I have previously DNF'd, but I'm going to try to be better. And this is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I don't remember a whole lot about it. It's historical fiction, and it follows death. Then there's the whole Matched trilogy with Matched, Crossed, and Reached. This is a future dystopian type book. It's young adult as well, but it is one that I'm interested in. I kind of want to read it more out of like hate, just so that I can read it and make fun of every single thing about it. Maybe I'll make a vlog just reading this trilogy sometime. Let me know in the comments below if that's what you want me to do. Then there's Good Riddance by Eleanor Lippman. A clever romantic comedy for a pro. Good Company by Cynthia DePrick Sweeney. This is a warm, incisive new novel about the enduring bonds of marriage and friendship. Flora has been happily married for more than 20 years, but everything she thought she knew about herself, her marriage, and her relationship with her best friend is upended when she stumbles upon an envelope containing her husband's wedding ring. The one he claimed he lost the one summer when their daughter Ruby was 5. That sounds good. I love a book that follows like a marriage, especially like a destructive marriage. Then I have Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. This follows this woman named Lauren. Adelaide. This follows a woman named Adelaide who starts dating this guy who she thinks she might be in love with, but he has some kind of tragedy that she has to help him with, but by helping him with it, she completely lets him take over her life and just stops being herself. Then we have Yours Truly by Abby Hemenzi. I just love everything that Abby Hemenzi writes. So it's a new romance. That's all I have to know. Then there's The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. This is a horror novel. It seems very contemporary, though, because I have read the first chapter or two, because I couldn't put it down. But it follows this man as his 4-year-old daughter is diagnosed with leukemia. Which, like, if y'all didn't know, I had leukemia when I was, like, 5. So, very, very, very parallel. And, I think this dad becomes a hitman. I'm not sure how that happens, but I'm intrigued. I want to know more. Then there's Good As Gone by Amy Gentry. This one is about this girl that shows up at her mom's house after 8 years of being lost and abducted. And her story just doesn't make sense. And then we have Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. This follows this girl, Desiree Pierce. Her dead body is found in a place that her sister knows she would never go to, but her sister is the only one investigating what happened to Desiree because Desiree is Black. Desiree is a reality TV star, and her sister is investigating, but she's kind of getting roadblocks everywhere she goes. There's The Hospital, Life, Death, and Dollars in a Small American Town by Brian Alexander. This is a nonfiction about a small town. Slanted, How the News Media Taught Us to Love Censorship and Hate Journalism by Cheryl Adkins. Again, another nonfiction about journalism. Then we have Phenomenon by Sylvia Brown. Everything you need to know about the paranormal. Nonfiction. Alright, these are all nonfiction as well, so I'm just gonna boom, boom, boom. There's Stiff by Mary Roach. This is The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers. Then there's The Five, The Untold Lives of the Women Killed by Jack the Ripper by Haley Rubenhold. Then there's Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Everyone knows what this is, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Then there's Blackout by Sarah Heypla. This is her memoir about being an alcoholic and being blackout drunk 90% of the time. Okay, and these next three I have already read and loved. So there's We Spread by Ian Reid. I will link the vlog of me reading this, but basically this is the horror novel about this woman named Penny who's getting older, losing her memories, and it's just her diving into descent as she gets older and loses her functioning. Then there's Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This follows Una, who wakes up on her night when she turns 19. She actually goes to the time in her life when she's 52, and she lives her life in a weird, complicated order where she doesn't really okay, so it talks about 1 year, I think she's 32, but really she's only like 24. But when she's 32, she's going through like this messy breakup, this really bad divorce, and she in real time hasn't met her husband. She's never met him, but she knows that their relationship got really rocky and that they ended on really bad terms. So it talks a lot about, like, if you knew things weren't going to end the way you want them to, would you still go after everything that you want in the current moment? Or would you, because you know it ends so badly, would you just let it pass you by and not even chase after it? I hope that makes sense. It was an amazing book. Then I read The Push by Ashley Audrin. which was a previous DNF for me, but this is like descending into motherhood, and it's like, you wonder if the main person in here, Bertha, her name's not Bertha, Liv, you wonder if she has postpartum depression, and you kind of see how that changes her life and kind of ruins her marriage and everything like that. Okay, these ones I have not read, because I just got them yesterday. There's One Italian Summer by Rebecca Sewell. This follows this woman's journey, Katie. Her journey after her mom dies, and it's a lot about grief and still trying to find your happiness, even though, like, your best friend, your mom, is gone. Then there's Bailey's Story by W. Bruce Cameron. It's just part of the Dog's Purpose series. Then there's Home Again by Kristen Hanna. I want to give Kristen Hanna another shot because I didn't love the first book I read by this author. Then Oh My Darling by Amity Gage. This is a book about a marriage that's kind of feels like it might be at the end of their marriage, and it's just one of those heartbreaking books that I'm going to love. Alright, this is our last stack, so I'm going to try and go through super quick. There's Yes Please by Amy Poehler, which I have read before. I absolutely love this memoir about Amy Poehler. It's hilarious. Changing tones a little bit, and going with Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is another memoir, but this one is about Chanel Miller, who for 4 years of her life was known as Emily Doe. This was the pieces of her life that she wanted to share with us after she was raped, and how, like, there's a lot of the Me Too movement. There's a lot of things about presidential candidate who didn't do some things very well. He did very horrible things, and then he became president. But there's also a lot of things about, like, it's not just when you get attacked as a victim, but it's also that you have to relive it over and over and over in the courtroom, in the hospital, in the interrogation. And sometimes it feels like the way our justice system is, that the victim is put on trial more than, or as much as, I would say more than the suspect or the perp. And it was just really eye-opening and really hard to read. Okay, then there's The Help by Catherine Stockett. I read this a while ago, but I finally got a copy. It is a historical fiction that I actually really enjoyed. Then there's Stay Awake by Megan Golding. You guys might have already seen this one. I'm not sure when I got it, but I really enjoyed it. You follow this woman named Rachel. I think her name's Liv. Woo! So glad that's not a pop quiz. Her name was Liv, and she wakes up and she lost 5 years of her memory, and you slowly start to piece together what happened and why she lost her memory and what's going on with her. It was wonderful. Then there's The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schwimmer. Again, this was an amazing memoir by Amy Schwimmer. Then there's The Appeal by Janice Howlett. I bought this because I'm doing a secret project with it. I have started it and I don't like it, so I might have to restart it later. Then we have Billy Summers by Stephen King. This one, I think Billy Summers is a hitman, but I don't know for sure. Then there's The Replacement Wife by Darby Kane, which she wrote The Last Wife. She wrote Pretty Little Wife, which was one of my favorites. But The Replacement Wife follows this girl named Eliza who is convinced that her brother-in-law has been murdering all the women in his life. And now she's trying to look out for his new girlfriend so that she doesn't become the next victim. Then there's, both of these I have read. One is a romance, one is a thriller. There's Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. There's Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This follows Chloe Brown, who has fibromyalgia, and she's kind of a grump because she's always in pain. And she meets Red. I think his name is actually Red. And he is, his name is Redford, but he goes by Red. And he is like sunshine, so they're opposites. Kind of low hate to love, because it's not real hate, and I didn't feel it from the beginning, but it's supposed to be, it's like opposites, and we just strongly dislike each other, and then they fall in love. It was cute. And then All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. This was a top-notch thriller about this woman named Isabel, who has not slept in a year because a year ago today, her son, Mason Drake. I was right about both, but he was taken out of his crib and kidnapped, and now her whole life mission is to get him back. It's kind of ruining her marriage, and she might be on the brink of losing her job because she is so obsessed with trying to find her son, who may or may not be alive. It's several hours later, and I realized that I forgot a stack of books. So these are children's classics, and they were $1 each at Walmart. So of course I sold out the entire shelf because I had to get my kids some too. But I'm going to quickly go through them. I haven't read any of these, but here we go. There's A Little Princess by Frances Hodgins Burnett. This was supposed to be my copy, but I have like a better copy already. So I might just put this one in my little school library. I don't know yet. Then there's The Adventures of Pinocchio by C. Goldie. Everyone knows Pinocchio. Then there's Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. These are all classics. The Story of Dr. Dolittle by Hugh Lofting. I didn't even know Dr. Dolittle was a book, but I love the movie. The Call of the Wild by Jack London. Okay, funny story about this. Several years ago now, two of my best friends were like, oh yeah, you should buy that, you should read it. So I bought it when we were book shopping, and I DNF'd it. Mostly because I felt real bad for the dog, but maybe I should actually give it a shot. So that's the plan. Okay. Then there's Pollyanna. I believe she's a orphan, kind of like Oliver Twist. Heidi by Joanna Spyri, another orphan. And Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Love the movie Black Beauty. It's so sad though, but it's about a horse named Black Beauty. Now, go back to Lita from the past, who's gonna say goodbye. Those are all my books from my book haul. I know, it was a lot. It was this many right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these and what you think my next read should be. Bye!